Hello everybody, I'm Stephanie and this is Data. Today we have a flow for you to help wring out some of the excess of the holiday season. With animals, when they get very stressed or there's too much going on, they will literally shake off the extra energy. So thank you, Data, for helping me today. Join me on your mat wherever you're at. So today we're going to be bringing our intention to one of the yamas in yoga. And I know that sounds like a very fancy word, but all that is, the yamas is one of the limbs of yoga, and it's a set of 5 restraints, things that we're looking into ourselves to see if we need to keep in check and balance. And so the 4th one is brahmacharya. And this means non-excess. And especially with this time of year when there are so many things going on that are very excessive. We have excessive food and excessive sound and excessive lights and excessive interactions with people. Sometimes it's good just to come back to the mat and to work out some of that excess in our lives. So you can join me on this flow if you're feeling very stressed during the holiday season, or maybe it's a different time of year where you're just needing to get rid of some of the excess. So we're going to begin today grounding the senses, pulling them in, coming to child's pose. Toes touching, knees apart. Sink your tailbone back towards your heels, palms reaching either out in front of you or you can reach them behind you. Forehead grounding down either to the mat or you can grab a block and place it underneath your forehead if the hips are a little tight. But just taking a moment just to close the senses or maybe soften them a little bit. Just beginning to breathe. Big inhales through the nose, body expands. And exhales through the nose. A little bit more engagement into the core. So as you're breathing here, you're sending your mind through your body and just looking at the different body parts and seeing what's going on just for this time together today. So continuing with the breath, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. One more deep inhale and exhale. On your next big inhale, making your way up to tabletop. Wrists come underneath your shoulders, knees come underneath your hips. Finding some movement here between cow and cat. Inhale, drop your core, lift your hips, lift the crown of your head, back bend cow. Exhale, reach your spine up towards the ceiling, chin to chest, press away from the mat, cat. So moving between these two shapes at your own pace. Can you be non-excessive even in these little movements? So you're pushing right up to the edge for your body, but not going past. And if you do, that's okay. Not beating yourself up about it. Coming back, maybe trying again. One more set wherever you're at. And coming back to your neutral tabletop, look over your right shoulder and bring your right hip up. So you're crunching your right side, but lengthening your left side body. So exhaling through the left side body, let it lengthen. Inhale back to center. Look over your left shoulder, bring your left hip up. So you're crunching your right side body. Left side body, lengthening your right. One more time, both sides. Inhale through center. Exhale, right shoulder, right hip. Inhale through center. Left shoulder, left hip. Back to center. Transfer your weight to your left palm. Right arm lifts, little twist. We're going to hold here for a moment. Beginning to feel the twist from the very base of the spine. So it's not just the hand, it's not just the neck, but the entire torso is twisting from the very base of the spine all the way over to the right. On your next exhale, bend your left elbow, thread the needle. Right arm reaches underneath. Drop your right arm, right shoulder, right ear. Left hand can stay underneath your shoulder. You can reach it above you. You can wrap it behind you. Don't feel like you have to stay in a certain choice if it doesn't feel good in your body. You're not stuck there. You can come back. Inhale, left hand comes back underneath your shoulder. Press up, right arm lifts. And exhale, right hand comes back down to the mat. Other side. Transfer your weight to your right palm. Inhale, left arm lifts, little twist. We're holding here for a moment. Feeling the twist again at the very base of the spine. Exhale, bend your right elbow, thread the needle. Dropping left arm, left shoulder, left ear. Right hand can do something different. You can keep it underneath you. You can reach it above you. You can wrap it behind you. Just beginning to let go any of that excess. Right hand comes back underneath your shoulder. Inhale, press up, left arm lifts, little twist. And exhale, left palm comes back to the mat. Engage your arms, pressing down into the mat. So you're spreading apart the scapula, the shoulder blades on the upper part of the back, spreading them from side to side. So arms are engaging. Feeling the muscles begin to work underneath the armpit here, the serratus anterior. Core pulls in, so arms are engaged, core is engaged. Tuck your toes. On your exhale, lift your hips up and back, finding your first down dog. Find some movement here. Maybe you're pedaling your heels. You can wag your hips back and forth, rock back and forth on the wrists. Maybe you're lifting and lowering the feet. Begin to settle in. All four corners of the palms are down. A little bit more engagement through the thumb and the first finger. It's going to keep you from dumping the weight into the wrists. Soften your knees ever so slightly and reach your hips back and up even more. Deep, deep bend in your knees. Look between your hands. Take your time. Walk your feet to the top of your mat. We're going to hang out here for a moment. Ragdoll. Core pulls in. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows. You can rock side to side. Maybe take out some of the excess stress in the neck. Shaking the head yes. Shaking it no. Hands reach back down towards the mat. They don't have to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands slide up the legs. Take your gaze out in front of you. Instead of craning the neck and taking the gaze way, way far out front, keep the neck in line with the spine so you're looking out in front of you but straight down. Exhale, reach back down through your crown. Belly button to spine. Inhale, reverse swan dive. And exhale, hands down through heart center. We're going to keep moving here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, swan dive. You have your choices. You can soften your knees. You can widen your stance. Maybe you put blocks underneath your hands so you're making your standing forward fold your own. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down. Deep bend in your knees. Step your right foot back. Then your left, top of your plank. Shoulders aligning over your wrists. On your exhale, bend your knees, lower them down to the mat. Can you still spread apart your scapula on your upper back? Bend your elbows. You can pause halfway down, chaturanga. Maybe you're adding some little push-ups. Then when you're ready, release all the way down. Keep gripping your mat. Shoulders reaching back, elbows reaching back. Inhale, drag forward, lift up, little cobra. Core pulls in. Exhale, melt back down. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Curl your toes, hips up and back, down dog. We're going to move through that sequence one more time, just warming up the body with one other option through our sun salutation. Deep bend in your knees, look between your hands, step, hop, or float your feet to the top of your mat. Breathe out, reach down through your spine. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down. Inhale, reverse swan dive. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down. Deep bend in your knees, plant your hands, step your feet back, top of your plank. You can go back to your knees, moving through one of those two options, pausing in chaturanga or take it to your belly. If you're staying on your toes, a couple of different options here. You can bend your elbows, pause halfway down chaturanga. Maybe you go to your belly, find your back bend, low, middle, high cobra, or flip to the tops of your feet, up dog. Whatever your choice is, can you keep the shoulders down and back so they're not creeping up by the ears? Press back, tabletop. Curl your toes, down dog. So we're going to begin to change the balance in either the front or the back side of the body. And as we do that, can you keep the opposite side balanced? Lift your right leg, three-legged dog. Right hip stays in line with your left, so you're not rolling it open. We're not finding a hip opening. Inner thighs working to keep the right hip dialed down. Bend your right knee. Shift your weight forward, shoulders over your wrist. Right knee comes towards your left elbow. Twisted single leg plank. That might be enough. You go back to down dog or child's pose. Maybe you keep moving. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, twisted single leg plank. Maybe one more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, shift forward. Inhale, lengthen. We're all meeting together. Three-legged dog with your right leg lifted. Bend your right knee, come up on your left toes. Step or walk your right foot through between your hands. On your exhale, left knee comes to the mat. Low lunge. Right knee stays over your ankle. So if you've shoved all the weight forward, instead of shoving the energy forward, can you draw it up? Right knee aligning over the ankle. Left palm plants down. Either block, you can give yourself some height, or mat. Squeeze your inner thighs together. So solid base in the legs. We're going to find a little twist here. Inhale, right arm lifts. Twisted low lunge. Are you feeling it from the base of the spine, or is it just the arm? Exhale, melt back down. Two more times. Inhale, right arm lifts, little twist. Exhale, plant it back down. Inhale, little twist. Exhale, melt it back down. Tuck your left toes under, press back through your left heel. Inner thighs working together, squeeze them in, core pulls in. Take your time, come up, high lunge. Transfer your weight to your right foot. Left foot walks or lifts up. Single leg Tadasana. Engage your toes. They're not hanging in space. Left hand comes to your hip. Right hand comes to your knee. Standing hand to knee. Long, long spine. So the spine, the torso here is going to tell you where you can go. This may be your stopping point, but you're finding your edge. Maybe you peace finger the left toes with the right fingers. Whoop, looking at you, maybe fall out. And begin to kick the foot out. As you do that, if the spine's going with the foot, come back, bend the knee. Take your torso, your gaze to the left. Is extended leg a little too excessive? Come back, hand to knee. You can keep hand to your hip. You can float your left arm open. Revolved hand to knee or revolved hand to toe. With just as much control, we're coming out. So you're not slamming out of the pose. Left hand comes back to your hip. Torso comes back to the front. Knee bends if it's extended. And release, left foot down next to your right. Whew, take some movement, some wiggles. Kind of let everything go. Realign the hips. We're going to do that through the other side. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down. Deep bend in your knees. Plant your hands. Step your feet back, top of your plank. It's nobody else's plank. So you can stay on your toes. You can take it to your knees. Core's working. Arms are working. You can take your flow. You can skip it. Go to down dog. Go to child's pose. We're all meeting together in down dog. Other side. Lift your left leg. What's going on with the left hip? Can you keep the left hip in line with the right? Can you keep the balance in both the palms, or did you rock way over to the right as you lifted your left leg? Bend your left knee, shift your weight forward. Shoulders over your wrists, left knee comes to your right elbow. Twisted single leg plank. One may be enough on this side. You can keep going or say no. That's an option. It's always a valid choice. Using the breath. We're meeting together. Three-legged dog with your left leg lifted. Bend your left knee, come up on your right toes. Step or walk your left foot through between your hands. Exhale, right knee comes to the mat. Draw the energy up, not forward. Right palm plants down, block or mat. Inner thighs squeezing towards each other so the knees aren't wobbling out to the side. Left arm lifts, twisted low lunge. Exhale, melt back down. Using the breath, inhale, twist. Exhale, release. Inhale, twist. Exhale, release. Curl the right toes under, press back through the right heel. Inner thighs are working. Squeeze that little thigh master. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You guys remember Suzanne Summers? If I just dated myself there, I don't know. Core pulls in. Inhale, come up, high lunge. Transfer your weight to your left foot. Right foot walks or lifts up. Single leg Tadasana. We're setting up that twisted hand to knee or twisted hand to toe, other side. Right hand comes to your hip. Left hand comes to your knee. You can stay there. You can peace finger your right toes with your left fingers and kick out. Maybe you soften your knee, keeping the spine nice and long. Take your torso, your gaze to the right. You can keep hand to hip. You can float the arm open. Control the release. Right hand comes back to your hip. Torso comes back to the front. Right knee softens. Right foot steps down next to your left. Whew, take some movement. Realign the hips. Here we go. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reach back down through the crown. Deep bend in your knees. Plant your hands. We're moving through our flow. Top of your plank. Knees or toes. Chaturanga or belly. Back bend, low, middle, high cobra or up dog. Press back, tabletop, down dog. So we kept the balance in the palms the first time as we were changing the balance in the feet. This time, keeping the balance in the feet as we're changing the balance in the palms. We're going to find a twisted down dog. Begin to press really hard with your left palm. Core's pulling in. Right fingers begin to walk back. Did you rock to the left? Can you keep the balance in both the feet? Core is working, left arm's pushing. Maybe the hand just walks back a little bit. That's okay. Maybe you reach right hand back for thigh, calf, ankle. If you can make the connection, find your twist looking underneath your left armpit, twisted down dog. Right hand comes back to its spot. Beautiful. Right leg lifts again, three-legged dog, but this time let the hip open. So bend your right knee, reach your right foot back to the left. The hip may not completely stack. Everybody's hips are a little bit different. Your hip opener may be there. Maybe it's there, wherever it is. Be okay with that. Can you keep the twist in the hips and not in the torso? So if the right armpit is rolled open, roll it back down. Draw a big circle with your kneecap. You're moving the hip around in the joint, getting some fluid moving there. Reverse your direction. Keep your right knee bent. Realign your right hip with your left. Come up on your left toes. Step or walk your right foot through between your hands. We're setting up warrior two. Left heel down, left toes out. Engage your core. Engage your inner thighs. Inhale, come up. Warrior two. So I'm going to flip this around for you here. Depending on where your hip is pointing. So if your hip is pointing over to the left, your left hip's pointing to the left, you're going to match it with your ankle and your toes. Toes and ankle are also going to the left. If you're going, what? My hips don't do that. That's okay. Maybe your hip is turned in and it's pointing more towards the upper left corner instead of directly to the left. You want to match, again, ankle with toes. Turn your toes in a little bit, and then find a bigger twist in your torso, okay? So we're coming back, warrior two. Tug forward. Right elbow comes to your knee. Left arm lifts, side angle. Extended overhead at an angle. Stretch, hold left side body. Inhale, come up, reverse your warrior. Right kneecap has a tendency to work its way in and straighten. So make sure right knee stays over the ankle and it's working towards the pinky toe. Use your breath one more time. Exhale, extended. Stretch left side body. Inhale, come up, reverse. Back to warrior two. I'm going to turn around here. From here, we're going to get some movement going in the right hip. Right toes turn in, reach up. So we're going to take warrior flying. Exhale, right toes turn out, lunge down. So you're not lunging forward, you're lunging straight down. One more time, right toes in, reach up. Right toes out, lunge down. Right toes in, reach up. Hands to your hips, soften your knees, core pulls in, crown straight down. Wide-legged forward fold. You can take hands to blocks, hands to floor, hands to ankles, hands to toe. Right palm plants down into the floor or block. Left arm lifts, little twist. We're holding here. Can you feel the stretch beginning to happen in your right hip flexor? Send your intention, your thought there to lengthen, allowing a deeper twist to the left. Left palm comes back down. Soften your knees, pull your core in, hands to your hips. Inhale, come up, reverse. Back to your warrior two, right toes turn out. Windmill your hands down, frame your right foot, left toes turn in. Low lunge, press back through your left heel. Send your breath into your left hip flexor, left psoas. With control, you can take your left knee down. Control your right knee back to your plank. If it's on your knees, knee comes down. Or control your right toes back to your plank. Find your flow or skip it, your choice. Other side. I'm going to flip it around. Begin to press really hard with your right palm. Left fingers begin to walk back. Can you keep yourself from rocking over to the right? Left hand can stop wherever it needs to, or maybe you make a connection. Right hand, left hand to right thigh, calf, ankle. If you can make the connection, finding your twist, look underneath your right armpit. Keep breathing. Smell your deodorant or smell your natural scent. Left hand comes back to its spot. Left leg lifts. We're finding a hip opening on this side. So bend your left knee, reach your left foot back to the right. Can you keep the left armpit from rolling open? Big circle with your kneecap. Reverse your direction. Keep your left knee bent. Realign your left hip with your right. Come up on your right toes. Step or walk your left foot through between your hands. Right heel down, right toes out. We're coming up warrior two, other side. Inner thighs engaged, core's working. Inhale, come up. Remember, if your hip's not going straight to the right, it's going up catty corner a little bit. Turn your toes in to match. And then find the twist back in your torso. Tug forward. Left elbow comes to your knee. Right arm lifts, side angle. Exhale, overhead at an angle. So you're stretching whole side body. Press down through the right foot. Reach all the way up through the right side body. Left knee, keep it where it is. Inhale, come up. Drop your right, reach back with your left. Reverse your warrior. One more time, it's your pace. Exhale, extended. Inhale, come up, reverse. Back to warrior two. We're taking it flying on this side. Get some motion going in the left hip. Inhale, left toes in, reach up. Exhale, left toes out, lunge down. Inhale, left toes in, reach up. Exhale, left toes out, lunge down. Inhale, left toes in, reach up. Hands to your hips, soften your knees. Core pulls in, crown straight down, back to your wide-legged forward fold. This time, left palm plants down, block or mat. Inhale, right arm lifts, little twist. Send your breath, your mind into your left hip. Feel it lengthen. And exhale, right hand comes back down to the mat. Soften your knees, core pulls in. Hands to your hips. Inhale, come up, reverse. Left toes back out, warrior two. Windmill the hands down, frame the left foot, turn the right toes in, low lunge. Stretch out the right hip flexor, press back through the right heel. We're going to go ahead and take it down from here. So bend your right knee, take it to the mat. Left knee comes back to your tabletop. We're going to take some movement again through cow and cat, working out any excess that might have built up. Just like a dog, we're trying to wiggle it out, shake it all out, get rid of all the excess. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. One more set, at your own pace. And then coming back to your neutral spine. We're setting up lizard lunge. Step your right foot to the outside of both your hands. Instead of lunging forward, can you walk your left knee, left toes back? Again, finding your edge. Don't be excessive. If you're feeling yourself rocking to the outside of your right foot, widen your stance. If the hip's turning, the knee is turning, turn your toes out. So you're keeping all four corners down, keeping the intention of the hip flexors stretching front and back and not side to side. Once you've got your base set up on your right foot, you can stay to your palms. You can come down halfway to your blocks. Maybe you're coming all the way down to your forearms. And just because you're doing one thing on one side doesn't mean the other side's going to look identical. It's very common that one hip is more open than the other. So don't be excessive with the hips. Inhale, come back up to the palms. This time we're going to stretch the hip flexors side to side. So if you've turned your toes out or widen your stance, bring your foot back in line. Rock to the outside of your right foot. So we're opening up the hip flexor to the side this time. Right knee and ankle are still in line. Transfer your weight to your left palm. Take your twist to the right, half diamond. Oh, I love this one. That may be enough. Stay there, half diamond. If it feels okay in your body, in your hips, maybe double diamond. Bend your left knee. Reach your right foot back for your left foot. So the hips are going side to side this time. With control, left foot comes back down. Right four corners of the right foot come back down. Toe heel your right foot over to the left. So we're setting up seated pigeon. If your body's not happy with seated pigeon, you're walking way over to the right. You can always flip it on its back. Reclining pigeon, right ankle over your left knee. Or maybe you just need a little bit of help from a block or a book or a pillow or a blanket, placing a block underneath your right hip. Whatever you need to do to get the hips square. Finding your edge. See, oh, a little bit too far, past my edge. Don't be excessive. Telling myself too, don't be excessive, Stephanie. Inhale the spine up. Exhale the spine forward, coming down, forearms, maybe two fists underneath the forehead, palms out. So just letting your pigeon sleep. You can always come back to something different if it's a little bit too much. So some of the ways that this brahmacharya can look in our lives, in our minds. Maybe it's excess of food. It might be excess of external stimulus. Maybe you just find yourself needlessly roaming the internet, scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, or maybe you're scrolling through the TV. Maybe you're noticing yourself trying to get rid of the excess in unhealthy ways. Every time my husband and I go to New York City, we always tend to get in a fight. There's just too much stimulus going on and we have to get it out somewhere, so we tend to pick fights with each other. For years, we didn't understand why this was going on. We didn't realize it was the overstimulus and we were trying to get rid of all the excess. So now that we realize that, we try a little bit harder not to pick fights with each other and get out the excess in other ways whenever we visit big cities. So whatever that looks like in your life, finding a healthy way to balance it back out. And you're doing that today with me, just taking this flow, making the time today. Coming back up to the palms, curl your left toes, pressing into your palms and your toes, coming back up. Tabletop. So we're setting up the other side, beginning with lizard lunge. Step your left foot outside of both your hands. Walk your right knee back, right toes back. You can widen your stance, turn your toes out, staying on your palms. Coming down blocks, forearms. This side is different though. Maybe it goes further. Maybe it doesn't go as far. So listening to what your body needs. Settling in with the breath. Coming back up to the palms. Bring your foot back in line. So if you've turned your toes out or widen your stance, transfer your weight to your right palm. Torso goes to the left, rocking to the outside of the left foot. Half diamond. That might be enough. Or maybe double diamond. Bend your right knee. Reach your right palm back for your left foot. Left hand back for your right foot. Get all confused when you get twisted up. With control, coming back out. Right foot comes down, torso back to the front, left foot comes back down. Toe heel your left foot over to the right. So you're setting up pigeon the other side. Or maybe you flip it to your back again, left ankle over your right knee. Find your pigeon, square your hips. Maybe you put a block or some lift underneath the left side. Find your edge. Inhale, spine up. Exhale, spine forward. Again, sleeping pigeon. Forearms, two fists, palms out. So one other definition of brahmacharya is to walk with God, to walk with the divine. And we're finding sacredness in the ordinary. My daughter hates it when she comes to me and she says, "I'm bored." And my reply to her a lot of times is, "That's good. Be grateful for that. Be grateful that you're not in pain, you're not hungry." We're finding this sacredness in the ordinary, in the mundane, this contentment. Inhale, come back up to the palms. Rock way over to the left hip. Right leg comes out and around. Left foot comes out. We're making our way down to our back. Setting up bridge. So walk your feet in, ankles underneath your knees as wide as your hips. Gaze stays straight up to the ceiling, so don't look down at your knees or hips. On your inhale, lift your hips, lift your core. That might be enough. You can lift your heart, roll your shoulders back underneath you. You can grab your palms, or maybe you're reaching for the ankles. Can you be non-excessive here? So instead of squeezing the glutes super, super hard, it's just a slight lift, slight engagement. A little bum lift, if you will. Knees staying in line with your hips, so they're not coming together, they're not reaching apart. On your next exhale, roll back down one vertebrae at a time. Knees come over your belly. Grab right below your kneecaps. Rock side to side, massage out the low back. Belly is soft. So anytime the knees are bent and pulled into the chest, you don't want to slam the low back down into the mat and create even more pressure with the knees coming in. So belly is soft here. One final little twist to twist out the excess. Right knee stays bent. Left leg goes long to the floor. Left hand stays with your right knee. Right palm opens to the side, grounding down, shoulder all the way through the fingers, so you're not reaching the shoulder up or arm's not floating above the ground. On your exhale, right knee goes to the left, left hip walks underneath you to the right. So you're aligning hips with spine. That may be enough there. Little options if you want to take it a little bit more. You can extend your right leg. Kick through the plants here. Just a little stretch for your IT band, maybe the piriformis. Maybe your left quad is a little tight. You can bend your left knee, reach your left foot with your right palm. You can keep looking to the ceiling, or maybe over your right shoulder. If you've taken all those options, coming into cat-tail. Never seen my cat to do this, but that's what it's called. Very gently coming back. Neck comes back to neutral. If you've bent your left knee, straighten it. If you've straightened your right, bend it. Right knee comes back over your belly. And exhale, right leg goes long. Other side. Bend your left knee. Right palm comes to your left knee. Left palm opens to the side. On your exhale, left knee goes to the right. Right hip walks underneath you to the left. Again, you've got your options. This could be enough. Just a deep belly twist. Or maybe you straighten your left leg. Add a little quad stretch maybe. Bend your right knee. Reach your right foot with your left palm. Gaze up or to the left. What choice would be least excessive? Maybe you're just taking one of these options or two or none. Or maybe you try a whole bunch of them and see what feels best for you. Neck comes back to neutral. If you've bent your right knee, straighten it. If you've straightened your left, bend it. Inhale, knee back over your belly. And exhale, left leg goes long. Setting up for a little Shavasana here. Close your eyes. Just coming back to your breath. Listening to the inhales and the exhales. And this isn't a nap, so it's not nap time. It's conscious rest. So staying in this space, you're welcome to stay here as long as you want. Maybe you pause the video, stay here for a little while. When you're ready, beginning to bring breath and movement back to your body, sending it to your fingers and toes, maybe finding some movement there. Send that breath up through your spine to your head, rocking it side to side. Arms reach up overhead on the ground above you. Big stretch apart like you're waking up first thing in the morning. Hands come back down by your sides. Bend your knees, rolling over onto one side or the other. Using your palm to press yourself back up to a seated position. Maybe taking any last little wiggles or movement, taking a cue from my dog, just letting the excess go. Sealing in our time together. Inhale your arms up overhead and exhale your hands down through heart center. Grateful to yourself for the things you were able to do in our time together, but also grateful to yourself for the things you weren't able to do, that you can say no, you can take different options, beginning to listen to your body and finding its edge. Thank you so much for letting me be part of your practice. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, shoot me a message in the comments below or find me online, YogiStephanieW.com. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for taking this time with me today. Blessings and namaste.